Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Annisquam Village Church for this second in a series that AVC is hosting with the Interfaith Committee of the Capian Climate Coalition. We are delighted to have you joining us this afternoon on this glorious day. My name is Nancy Caselli. I'm a member of AVC, and I serve on the Creation Care team, which is dedicated to pursuing actionable ways to live sustainably amidst our environmental concerns. Our activities are focused locally and throughout Cape Ann. I'd like to pause for a minute, although many of you are aware of this already. There are cans of sparkling water in the entryway, inside the entryway for you to enjoy here in the pews. Also, bathrooms are located on the lower level, and you can access them going out this entryway down to the stairs to the right. Just if you go down those stairs, hold on, because their stairs are rather steep, so hold on to the railing. Otherwise, to my left is an elevator and also stairs leading downstairs. So, and we anticipate we're going to wrap this up around 4-ish. So, at any rate, also our pastor, Reverend Sue Kohler-Arsenault, would also love to be here today to welcome you. But she is in New York this weekend celebrating the marriage of her son. And I'd also like to extend a special thanks to Rick Blue, our tech guru, for enabling us to enjoy this presentation in the sanctuary today. Our goal in this series of programs with the Interfaith Committee of the Cape Ann Climate Coalition is to educate our greater community on the power of regenerative farming and soil regeneration. Many of you were here last month where we viewed the movie Common Ground, followed by a Q&A led by Tucker Smith from Cedar Rock Gardens. So the series continues today with a presentation offered by Andrew Brousseau, a co-founder of Black Earth Compost. And it will culminate here on Sunday, November 3rd, with a panel discussion featuring 3 local regenerative farmers. And it will be led by Allison DiFiore of Backyard Growers. The participating farmers are Jamie Barrett of Marshview Farm, Ben Smith from Driftwood Farm in Rockport, and Regina Lane from Seaview Farm in Rockport. So we look forward to welcoming you back on that day. Now it is my pleasure to introduce you to Sharon Byrne-Kashida, who is the leader of the Interfaith Committee of the Cape Ann Climate Coalition, and brought Andrew to us today. She arranged him to be with us. So Sharon, welcome, and thank you so much for all your good works.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming on such a beautiful day. I know myself, I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. But this is going to be a treat for all of you, and I'm glad you found time in your day to come join us. I want to first thank Nancy for that wonderful introduction, background information. Rick Blue, who is up there, undercover, as it were, who is he's the wizard behind the computer that's going to make it all work for Andrew. I do want to give a special thanks to Annisquam Village Church, who is hosting all 3 of these events. Unfortunately, Reverend Sue is not here today, but she's celebrating her son's wedding, which what could be better than that? So again, thank you all for coming. So my job is to introduce Andrew. And before I do that, I just want to kind of paint a little picture for you that's a little bit off topic from what Andrew is going to be talking about. But my background is in waste prevention in Massachusetts. And right now, probably you will be shocked to know that we are exporting to other states 40% of our waste. Probably not true for North and Essex County communities because we are host to 3 municipal waste combustors. But 40% of our waste is going to other states as far away as Alabama. It's shocking. We also know that within our waste stream that we are generating something like 35% of what we throw away is food waste. Massachusetts is one of 5 states in the country that has adopted a food waste ban. And a recent study that just came out last month said that of all the states that have implemented waste bans, Massachusetts has the most effective one. Right? Yay. Really great news. Right now, our waste ban only impacts commercial generators who generate a half a ton or more of food waste per week. The state produces, or they publish a solid waste master plan every 10 years. And so we are in the 2020 to the 2030 solid waste master plan. And there are many stated goals, and one of them is to reduce our waste by 30%. And we're not even close to making that mark. There was a tremendous setback with COVID when we all were home and generating a lot more waste than before COVID. So how are we going to get there? We have seen with the waste ban, we have seen the our food waste go down. It's been effective, but we need to do a lot more. The goal for 2030 is to divert 500,000 tons of food waste, and we are currently at 380,000 tons, so it's working. But to get us to that next level, we really are going to have to start going to individual households. And that's where Black Earth comes in. And I don't think you probably realize how lucky we are to have Black Earth literally in our backyard. So Andrew grew up in Manchester, got your undergrad degree at UMass, decided you wanted to go out west and ski, right? But you were an oceanographer for a bit there. Decided that you really wanted to pursue nutrient health, right? So wanted to get an advanced degree, and at the same time met this other young man whose name is Connor Miller, and started talking about the idea of doing food waste composting, right? Had you figured that you were going to do the collection as well, or just the composting?
I knew he was doing the collection, and then I came on to help him with the composting, because he wasn't doing too good at that part.
Yeah, because you are the composting guru, as we'll say. So the two of them came back east and started Black Earth, which was dovetailing with the rollout of the food waste ban. And so right now, I was looking at your website, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 100 communities actively working with Black Earth on food waste diversion. But there are another 100 plus that is part of their service area. And so going back to this goal of reducing waste, we all have to do our part, but we could not do this without Black Earth as our partner. So we are incredibly lucky to have this service available. So without further ado, that's the backdrop. Now, Andrew is going to be able to talk about the other terrific benefit to collecting our food waste, turning it into compost, and that compost is going to sequester carbon. Man, is that a home run or what? So please welcome Andrew Brousseau.
Cool, thank you. Yep, my name is Andrew Brousseau. Everything she said is correct. I live right down the street, and I'm happy to be here. And she is right that we're lucky that Black Earth is here for this. You know, I'm only part of it, but to provide this service. But if it wasn't for us, I don't know if, every community from New Hampshire all the way down to Falmouth and into Rhode Island would have compost collection service. And I credit my business partner, Connor Miller, for really helping to drive that because he's got like the business mind. Like my secret to business is I have a partner who's good at business. And I'm just like the earth scientist, and I've been focused on the nutrient waste problem for a long time. But through the last 13 years doing this, I've seen how food waste composting can have like so much more effect, all the way, building up to the ultimate thing, which is the regional food system and like the security that provides our state. I guess the short of it is if we make compost, then we can build soils at our farms. It's then easier to farm. And when you're building soil, that's your carbon sink. And then you're growing food for like Boston. And like that's the tight cycle that creates all these benefits for farms and the city and is a carbon sink at the same time. So it's like, yeah, there's just so many wins in it. But we'll talk about that. I was thinking about this presentation and how to do it, like what kind of format to do it. Bye, guys. My 11-month-old isn't gonna make it more than a couple minutes, apparently. I was thinking about different ways to lay out the talk. So we'll see if this works. But I have a presentation. We'll kind of discuss different parts of the carbon cycle that we can impact personally. My focus is organic waste. So I'll be talking about like, what are your personal organic wastes? And like you have an impact on them because they're yours. So that's kind of the lens and the framework. And then, I'll talk for a bit and then we can have Q&A at the end. But also while I'm talking, like we're in a small group, feel free to like raise your hand or something, or shout, if you feel it. So first and can everyone hear me well? Marion? Great. So I'll just explain Black Earth compost real quick in case anyone doesn't know, and also I guess we're on live stream. Cool, we'll have the slides up there. So essentially this encompasses what we do. So we eat food, then we sort it out, put it on the curb, we pick it up, we turn it to compost. It goes back to the farmer or the gardener, we grow food, and we eat again. And so this is our circle here, which is what we're trying to get to. And it's important in a circular economy to keep things clean as we go round and round, because you don't want to start accumulating like stuff you don't want in there, like toxins and such. Any circular, whether recycling aluminum cans or paper, it's important to keep the stream clean. And that's what makes the circular economy work well. So anyways, these are our trucks. We go around each week. We do food scrap collection, and you may have seen them around. These are our small 13-gallon bins. We take your food waste each week, food waste, compostable packaging. We also take yard waste, and we just started taking electronics, textiles, donations, plastic wrap we're now collecting. Not with these trucks, but on a separate route. So if you're interested, that's called Charm. We just rolled it out last month. These are like the totes that we collect from. So these will be from schools, cafeterias, restaurants, and then this is your small tote. This is old. We actually have 40 trucks now. We have 4 compost sites, about 80 employees. These are a couple of the sites we have. Just to give you an idea, this is our compost site in Groton, Massachusetts. So we have an indoor structure where the food waste gets received. So our strategy has been, let's make like most people have the idea that a compost site is like piles of, crap in a field. Or it's like, people are even like, oh, you like dump the food waste in a hole and like, that's what you do, right? And it's like, no, like there's a modern compost facility. There's not a lot of examples. And so we're trying to show people what that is by actually building it. So you have like an indoor portion and an outdoor portion. Food scraps come in here. They stay inside for like a week. They get blended. The food mixes in with the carbon. There's air pipes underneath blowing air up through. And then when material comes out, it goes into these windrows. And you've gotten your pathogen kill. The food's gone, so you're not attracting birds, rodents, that kind of stuff. This is our new facility in Manchester, Mass. This was a picture from last summer when we were under construction, and I'm proud to say that we are now in operation. And, that's been like 6 years coming. Fascinating, the municipal process. Just really, really fascinating. The consensus building and all that, and just making sure everything's like following every rule is really interesting process. But that's what we're trying to be good at, because we think this food waste composting is a service that municipalities should have, just like a wastewater treatment plant. And then you can get the finished product back. We deliver small amounts to people's houses. We have a program I'll talk about called Compost for Carbon Drawdown, where we come and deliver a small amount of compost, like 5 wheelbarrows worth, to your house with instructions on how to spread it in your yard to like get the most carbon drawdown on your property. And that's actually happening right now, because you want to get it down before the leaves go down. And we also sell raised beds. These are a couple of the sizes, and that's to help people garden in the backyard. And I won't touch on this, but just like growing greens in your backyard and keeping them fresh in your garden bed is a great way to reduce your carbon impact. Because what's the alternative? You're growing greens in like California or somewhere else. They're being refrigerated, like the entire chain all the way to get to your refrigerator, right? Whereas you could just have them growing in your backyard. They're staying fresh there. You cut them when you need them, and you eat them fresh. So that's like kind of the power of the like raised bed, and it keeps bunnies away. All right, so we're going to talk about the carbon cycle. This talk is about carbon sequestration, right? That was the title, but we're going to talk about the whole carbon cycle, because I think it's important to talk about carbon sequestration. So there's going to be a simpler one, but this is kind of the complex one that I thought was kind of cool to show all the intricacies. But basically all your carbon's CO2 is in the atmosphere. That's what we're trying to get down, right? So to sequester it, it goes in the ocean. That's sequestering. And it can go into photosynthesis and biomass. So sequestering means bringing it down into earth and the biology. But you can also reduce how much you're putting up. So that's equally as important. And actually, I think there's too much focus sometimes on stopping putting it up when maybe we just need to bring more down by sequestering it. So everyone's focused on reducing emissions, but if we had enough sinks, carbon sinks, then we could emit all day long, and maybe it's not a problem. So just think about that. All right, so here's kind of the framework. I'm going to keep showing this slide over and over. It's simplified. So the framework is the carbon budget, right? And so this number right here, 4.3 plus or minus 0.1, right? So 4.3 gigatons of carbon per year. So if you take all your sources of carbon, burning fossil fuels, land disturbances, changes, if you take all your sources and you subtract your sinks, like the ocean and biomass, you're still left with too much source. So that number is 4.3 gigatons per year. And you can see, 2 points, so that the math there, so 8.9 and 0.9 are coming up, right? 8.9 is from burning of fossil fuels, that's from driving trucks around, pulling stuff, all our activities, and a lot of that carbon is coming from underground, right? It's coming from underground as fuel, and then we burn it, and it comes up here. And then, some amounts released from agriculture, right? So that's on here. That's from fields getting tilled up, or from livestock and, producing methane from that, or the other impacts from livestock, like all the land they need. So those are the two sources on here. And then here's, your two sinks, your land sink. So there's all the biomass, the forests, they're pulling your yard, it's pulling carbon down, right? Just photosynthesis. Have you ever seen, so when's the last time you guys looked at the graph of atmospheric CO2 on year to year? So every year it does